My name is Chip Dale. I'm currently a business teacher and football coach at Eastern High School in Greentown, Indiana. My ultimate goals are to be a high school head football coach, as well as a high school strength trainer. This is going to be a typical off-season workout. We're going to work on, this is our Monday workout, where we're going to work on bench and squats, as well as chin-ups and lunges as our core work. Then we'll move into some other auxiliary type exercises and finish with some plyo work as our main resistance work. The off season is built around 3 days of lifting, 2 days of plyometric speed work, and football skills heavy days, alternating back and forth. That way we don't burn out any of the athletes, as well as strain their bodies too much. Again, working for power, working for speed. As we progress towards this season, we're going to change the amount of reps as well as sets, get more power, more weight on the bar as we get closer to the season. Once the season actually reaches, we'll do a lot less heavy lifting and more maintenance lifting to maintain the gains we've built in the off season. To begin our workout, we're going to go through a dynamic warm-up progression that begins with some basic athletic movements, just running, arm actions, things like that, and then progress into more football-related skills work, again, with the purpose of warming up the athlete, but still training football skills. To start off, we're going to go through our dynamic warm-up sequence. It begins with some basic just arm warm-up. We use this to help train motor units in the arms, to get a better arm action, to help drive the lower body during runs. So we start off with a nice slow, almost walking pace. The goal here, as you'll see me working with the kids, is to get a smooth arm action rotating at the shoulder. Keep the elbow bent about 90 degrees. Try not to, as you'll see the athlete on the left, he's kind of got a hammer action. He's rotating mostly at the elbow. We'd rather have more like the one on the right, where the arm is more rotating and driving backward, the elbow backwards and forwards. Arm action is done twice. After arm action, we move straight into high knee fast arms. This sequence, what we're looking for is a full extension on the contact leg, as well as driving the knee as high as possible, trying to make contact with a upright chest. We'd like to see a slight forward lean here to help get a good extension and power drive as they're going forward. Again, we're going for speed as well as good form. Our third dynamic warm-up exercise is high knee karaoke. What we're going to do here is we're going to do one each way. So one will be to the athlete's left, one will be to the athlete's right. We're going to face sideways, go in the same direction we just ran, high knee fast run. The keys here, we want to get full extension on the contact leg. And then the trail leg, when it drives to cross over, we really want to drive vertically. That way we get that full extension. So we really want to push the knee up, and then after we're at full extension, get our knee raised fully high to full height. We want to then cross over our hips and drive it down and forward, and then bring the trail leg behind, back and forth, back and forth. Finally, we end our dynamic warm-up sequence with a light plyo workout. We're just going to do some calf jumps here. Basically, we're looking for a slight eccentric work with the legs, trying to load them up a little bit. Use the arms and the upper body to help drive upwards, leaving from the toes and landing on the toes to avoid injury. After our dynamic warm-up, we move into a skill progression for football skills. These are based on defensive back skills, and these are still considered part of our dynamic warm-up. We're still trying to get the body ready to do a resistance workout. The first part of this sequence is going to be a tackling progression. It's a very simple arm workout, basically. We're teaching the skills of how to make contact correctly using the chest and the front part of the shoulder. The first part of this is going to be just arm wraps. We're going to teach them how to get good squeeze, how to use their shoulders correctly so we avoid injuries in tackling, neck injuries, shoulder injuries, things of that nature. The key here is to load 2 double uppercuts. We're going to throw our elbows backwards at the same time, and then we're going to drive our elbows forward using shoulder rotation, reach high with the hands, and try and grab cloth on the back, squeezing with the elbows and the chest. Basically, we're doing an uppercut kind of a hug to teach them how to avoid separating their shoulder or injuring their neck. The next step in the progression is to move the athletes from their knees to their feet. Our goal here is to maintain proper uppercut and shoulder fit and add in a step. The step is going to be the same foot as the contact shoulder. Our reasoning with this is that we're going to develop proper fit as well as proper power. So in this case, what you're going to see is the athletes are going to load their arms up. We want to get correct forward roll. We don't want to false step and step backwards to load our body up. We want to just go straight into contact. So what we're trying to do is push our weight up onto our toes so that then we're forcing our body to step forward. With this, as the athlete steps, they're going to load their arms as they did before on the ground, throw their uppercuts, grab cloth, and make a correct shoulder fit. For this individual position group, we're going to be basing our movement drills on their defensive back stances and back pedals. The stance is very, very basic. We're trying to get a narrow stance to provide a better vertical movement. We'd like the arms to be loose and relaxed. We'd like them to hang at or below knee level. We need a straight spine and lots of bend in both the ankles, knees, and hips. The beginning back pedal we're going to use is the most basic of all back pedals. It's just a straight back pedal. The athletes here are going to assume their proper stance and try to maintain that position as they basically run backwards. What we're looking for here is long strides with good opposite arm action. We want to try and drive the pedal backwards. We don't want a lot of steps here. A lot of steps is slower. We'd like to cover more ground and be more athletic. After straight back pedal, we're going to move into a more complicated movement. This is a very useful move for most defensive backs. This is what we refer to as the sideways back pedal. The sideways back pedal allows you to open your hips and see into the location of the ball. We use this a lot in zone defenses. What they're going to do is they're going to create a slight stagger in their stance from the original position. So somewhere from toe to arch to just past toe to heel, whichever is comfortable for the athlete. They'll widen their stance just slightly to give a little bit better base, and they're going to turn their hips and shoulders in towards the ball. So in this case, you're going to see us do it in both directions. Now the proper move we're looking for is that the front leg, the lead leg, is when it drives backward, is going to actually cross over. So they're going to run almost in a crossover action. The reason for this is it opens their hips so that now when they go to turn to run with an athlete running vertically on them, they have a quick, easy change of direction. They don't have to worry about turning their hips over the top of themselves. It makes a nice, easy drive. With this, you're going to see a few mess ups here with the athletes. They're still learning this move. I'm a new defensive coach here, and I'm starting to teach some new techniques. So you'll see here, we have some problems. They want to cross over the front. They want to try and almost make it like a karaoke move. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for a straight crossover behind the legs, and then eventually we'll work into a straight flip. The last phase in our back pedal progressions are to work on forward breaks. The key here being a offensive player has stopped and changed direction, come either forward or sideways, either one. What we're going to try and do is undercut their route. The first thing here is we're going to start off and do what's known as a short W drill. It's going to be a 3 to 5 yard back pedal at most. Again, looking for the same keys as before: good forward lean, solid back pedal motion with opposite arm action. And then we're going to use one of two schools of thought. The one that I teach is an accelerated step. There's also known as what's a lockout step, where you're going to place your foot down to the ground and lock your hips and then come forward. Being in Indiana as well as at the high school level, you don't know what kind of condition the field's going to be in, so the accelerated step tends to work a little bit better. What we're going to do here is we're going to backpedal as normal, and then you'll see the athletes accelerate their feet. They're going to try and put as many steps in the ground as possible and then break forward at a 45-degree angle. We're going to move from our warm-up sequence, which we're doing our warm-up drills as well as football skills, and go straight into our resistance training after this. So we'll leave the area we're in and go to the weight room. Our goal here is to develop power in large muscle groups, so we're going to do a lot of powerlifting. And then we're also going to isolate some smaller groups and do more almost like bodybuilding type exercises. To start off, we're going to go with bench, which is going to be 4 sets of 5 reps, trying to develop some nice power. First thing we're going to do is try to engage the entire body. You're going to see this athlete has a slight hip raise, which we'd like to get rid of, but for the most part he does a nice job engaging his core, his hips, his legs, his back, and both his chest and arms while moving the bar. We're really, again, trying to work on upper body strength. To start off, we're going to go with a grip that's just slightly wider than shoulder width or at shoulder width, depending on what's comfortable for the athlete. The spotter is going to help him raise the bar if he needs it. We're going to use the eccentric phase when he's lowering the bar to help put tension into the triceps and chest during the stretch. And then on the concentric phase, what we're looking for is he squeezes to push the bar forward. There's an explosive movement. Try and really throw the bar without bouncing it off your chest. Make sure everything is safe. And then finish with full locked out arms, and then repeat the exercise. Our second major exercise is going to be squats. Again, trying to develop whole body power here today. We've done upper body, now we're going to move on to a little bit of lower body. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure the bar is loaded correctly, make sure we have a good spotter and ready to go. The athlete's going to put the bar just along the shoulder, just above the shoulder blades, right along the traps. Raise the bar off the rack, and then again, concentrate on both eccentric and concentric motion. So as he's lowering, use that tension to load up his glutes, his quads, his hips, everything as he bends down. We want to try and get the hips below the knees to make sure and engage all aspects of the quad and glute, and then explode as it comes up. The key here for the spotter, make sure that the weight doesn't just drop. We don't hurt the athlete in any way, as well as once they're finished, make sure the bar is properly racked so the athlete can leave. Other key points here, make sure the back is straight, which the athlete does a pretty good job squatting here. Good back, straight back, big shoulders to hold the bar. And again, the key being the hip height compared to knee height. The third action we're going to do is chin up action, which is going to be a pull up with a supinated grip, palms facing towards the face. At shoulder or slightly narrower in the shoulder. Again, we're going with what's comfortable for the athlete. The key here, make sure you reach full elbow extension at the bottom so your arms are nice and straight, and then squeezing, concentrating using the back and biceps to pull the body upward. Reach chin above the bar, and then again lowering back down. Use that eccentric phase to load the bicep and backs back up again. We're going to do 3 sets of 10 repetitions on this. Our final major power group we're going to work with here is we're going to do a dumbbell walking lunge. Rather than do just a normal split squat or lunge, we're going to try and do something a little different, something moving, trying to again get more realistic skill action out of it. So the athlete's going to do a lunge while walking using dumbbells. With all these exercises, we're looking for about a 60 to 90 second rest in between sets. These sets for this dumbbell walking lunge are going to be 2 sets of 10 per leg, so they'll do 20 in each set. The key here, get a good lunge, and then as they come out of the lunge, come forward into a full stand-up resting position, and then move directly into the opposite leg, so they'll walk straight down the hallway. Again, 20 steps total, 10 per leg for 2 sets. Now that our athletes have completed their major muscle groups, what we're going to do is move on to a more bodybuilder type workout. We're going to do a superset of 2 auxiliary lifts. This will serve a purpose of helping gain some power in like their bench or whatever muscle groups we're doing for the day. Today being arms, we're going to concentrate mainly on the shoulders and also attack a little bit of biceps and triceps. So the first move in both supersets will be a shoulder move. The first set being a front shoulder raise. We're looking for a nice controlled movement with the dumbbell, a weight that is going to cause some strain around reps 8, 9, and 10. Again, doing 10 reps per set. The key being that the dumbbell is raised directly from the hips with palms facing down, facing the body. We're going to be raised straight up to right at delt height. We don't want to go too high here because we could cause some strain on the rotator cuff, things like that. So what we're trying to do is just a nice controlled movement up to delt height and then slowly lower it back down. Following the front shoulder raise, the athlete goes directly into a tricep cable pull down. What we're looking for here is they're going to bring the cables down to their waist, hold the elbows at 90 degrees. We don't want to go past 90 degrees. And then what they're going to do is press the rope down. Once they've reached full elbow extension, what we're looking for is a pronation of the wrist. So the wrist is going to roll straight down and away from the body to full extension. Again, what this is going to do is give us a little bit of an isometric hold, as well as add a little bit of extension to the triceps, so it's going to strain it a little bit more. Our second superset is going to start off with a shoulder move again. Instead of a front shoulder raise, we're going to do a lateral shoulder raise. This, again, we're trying to isolate each part of the delt here. So we've already done one. We're going to move on to the middle and to the anterior side of the delt with the lateral raise. The key here being same, palms down facing the body. We're going to raise it nice and controlled up to delt height. Try not to get above delt height to limit injury possibilities to the rotator cuff. Same action, just a different arm position. Following your 10 reps in the lateral raise, the athlete is going to move straight into a bicep curl. What we're looking for here is a full range of motion. We want the athlete to bring the dumbbell straight up, keep the elbows locked at the sides. We'd like to rotate to a full supinated grip, really squeeze the bicep at the top. The key here being at 8, 9, and 10 reps, the weight is difficult, but also to really maximize the pump on the biceps as the weight is reaching the top of the arm. After our supersets, we're going to move into an abdominal core type set of exercises. These are going to range anywhere from 10 to 25 reps depending on the difficulty of the move. So things like what we're going to call pulse-ups and toe touches, those are a little more difficult, a little more straining, so we're only going to do about 10 reps. Whereas something like crunches or our mason twists, we can hold for a little bit longer, so we're going to go into more of the 25 rep range. Pulse-ups and toe touches are going to see first. Those are our first two exercises. They're going to start with the feet straight up in the air, feet dorsiflexed. Try and lock the knees out as much as possible. Depending on the athlete's strength and flexibility, it might be a little more difficult to lock the knees fully, but we really want to fight to get locked knees in with dorsiflexed feet. Pulse-ups, you're going to take and raise the hips straight from the floor. And toe touches, you're going to take, and it's going to be a crunch action with arms straight out. You're going to try and raise your hands up above your toe height. Following toe touches and pulse-ups, we're going to go into crunches. Crunches, again, you can do a little bit more, so we're going to do probably 25 reps here. The crunch key here is we want bent knees, try and bring the feet close to the buttocks. We'd like hands behind the head, and we want to raise about halfway up the back. We'd like to use the abs to really contract and bring the shoulders just up a few inches off the ground. We don't want to try and roll all the way up into a sit-up to try and limit injury we could have to our spine. Again, just try and really use the abdominals to really contract and pull the chest towards the hips, keep a straight back. Following crunches, we're going to go into mason twists. You'll see me demonstrating mason twists here a little bit. What we're looking for is a really straight spine. We want to really balance ourselves on our buttocks, take our feet off the floor, and we're going to use, this is really attacking more of an oblique area, so we're going to try and twist the shoulders to face our knees and place our hands on opposite sides. 1 rep counts as when the hands hit both sides of the hips. To concentrate on that straight back, the coaching point we try and use is really pinch those shoulder blades, really pinch them together and try and force your chest out. That really helps to keep the spine straight. And then just rotate the shoulders back and forth for 25 reps. Again, 1, 2, that's 1 rep, and then we count back and forth for 25. The last high intensity portion of the exercise of the workout is going to be plyometric exercises. It's going to be a tri-set. We're going to do 2 sets of these. The first move being a jump knee tuck, where we're going to plyometric jump up. We're going to really want to load up the lower half of the body by slightly bending down, use arm action to raise our body up, and then as we come into the air, we want to bring our knees up to at least parallel. So you're going to see the way I coach it is I have them, as they jump, they're going to lower their hands down to just above waist height, and try and bring their knees to their hands. So they're going to do 10 reps there continuously. So land, again, leaving and landing off the toe and rolling the foot, trying to limit impact on the knees. So you're going to see them jump up, touch their knees to their hands. Then we're going to move into heel ups, which is going to be the same jumping action. Again, try and get some eccentric load as they come down. Use the arms to jump up in the concentric phase. And then instead of bringing their knees up, we're going to try and point the knees straight to the ground and bring the heels up to the buttocks. You'll notice when we get into this that the athlete, he doesn't do a really good job of leaving his heels down. He kind of brings them up. That's something we talked as he was going through. And then the final set in the tricep is a step-up sequence. So you're going to go straight to a box. We're trying to really get full extension of the power leg that's on the box. So as you come up on the box, we want to really extend it to try and get power. This, again, working on power in the running phases. To do that, we're looking for really drive the driving knee that's coming up, drive it up as high as you can, and extend that knee and back leg with your glute. After this, we'll take a 30-second break and then go straight into the second set. To finish the workout off, we're going to do a nice light cool down jog. We're going to put them on a 5-minute cycle, so they have 5 minutes to just jog lightly at their own pace, let their heart rate drop down, let their body temperature drop back down. And you'll also see they have the freedom here to do some light ballistic stretching, just kind of bounce out, let their arms, their legs adjust back to not strenuous exercise.